What's up, Nova? So happy you're taking over today.
Quinn Button, how are we doing, my friend? How are we doing?
It's always a good day when it started with CryptoNovo.
Oh, that's right. I'll start off with the first question for you. Where are you located right now? Are you States? Are you in the States? Are you over in London? Where are you at right now?
Great question. I am still in the States, still stateside, but I will be headed off to London tomorrow. So really looking forward to being across the pond for a couple of weeks, starting tomorrow.
Oh, you have a million things organized, and I put it in the tweets on the takeover right now. I really greatly appreciate all that you're doing with a million pieces going on in this space. To have the mind width and the know-all to take care of everyone, including CryptoNovo. I greatly appreciate it. You're up, to the wee hours every night, every morning, wherever you're at, because the NFT space does not sleep. And I appreciate the hard work that you've been putting in, along with a lot of other people who have, said accolades towards you and your crew, that you guys have been just hammering away and just been awesome throughout all of this.
Oh, thank you, my friend. It's such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to, work with wonderful people like you, and, to hear that from you means a lot. And it is definitely a team effort. We're all, as you said, Web3 NFTs, that space doesn't sleep. And so it really is such an honor to be able to work with great people like you. And, your message is so exactly what the ethos of this space really is all about, and it's all about community. I love that you capitalize unity, because that's really what the community is all about. We got to unify and push things forward together. So appreciate you very much, and so excited that you're taking over today. Hope it won't be the last time.
Yes, yeah. So I plan on coming back later this evening, maybe in 11 hours, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But first, I'm going to get some tunes playing right now, and this is something that actually I am 6, who is listening in the crowd, was able to help create, and that's what it is being all part of the mix in with what we're trying to create in this space. Just trying to find it right now. Let's see where we're at. A lot of files pulled up here. So we're having a Halloween party, and with that Halloween party, we are, getting some awesome content out there. And that Halloween party is obviously on Halloween, and you can hop into the Novoverse right now, which is in Decentraland 2369, and view what's going on, and actually view what's happening live right now in the space. And maybe I'll just put that on the top here. I'll find that pinned tweet for us. Let me click a couple buttons here. And yes, we are live now in the Novoverse. I'll pin it up on the top tweet here. Wrong button. Let's see. We need that button right there. So if you are listening right now, you can go on that top pinned tweet right there and see what we're actually viewing. And inside the Novoverse, what I've been able to do is link in with Restream and restream live video within Decentraland. And that includes spaces, and that spaces can get live content in there where, we're watching what's happening live and direct. And through my time in this space, which started off, maybe about 2 years ago, when I was first able to enter in and get a CryptoPunk, not as an OG, but, a couple of weeks thereafter. And I was able to talk with like-minded individuals that are in the space to help pave the way to what you're seeing today is CryptoNovo. And it just didn't start off as a simple Twitter handle where I was actually able to get into Discord and talk with people like Pranksy, talk with people like Snowfro, talk with people, Tony Herrera, Claire Silver, and able to see what this space had to offer, because I wasn't too sure what NFTs were. Just like anyone else, we had to start somewhere. And that educational process began in Discord. And I was an active participant, just like being an active participant within this Web3 space now. I was able to get out there, reach out to everyone. And when I enter the the realms that I'm in and the different spaces that that I'm in. I always say, welcome all my aliens, apes, and zombies, because I want to be there for everyone, everyone in that space. And part of that is the great people at NFT NYC, which able to help me explain myself in this space and onboard others. Because about is onboarding other people, getting other people comfortable, talking about what they've learned in the space, having people comfortable about listening to other leaders, thought leaders in the space, which is extremely important, is the learning aspect. I learned from others just to do simple things like create MetaMasks, wallets, how to peruse and degen within NFTs. And that eventually turned into networking. That networking brought me to NFT NYC 2021, where back in the day, man, it seems like forever ago, but it was pretty much a year ago, almost to the date. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, man. I can't believe it was only a year ago. Or coming up, actually, almost on exactly a year ago. Actually, you'll be in London when that anniversary happens.
And that was like a huge part of it, is everyone was kind of, I felt like, trapped in a little bit being with the COVID era. And that was like the first like release, like first like major, like, hey, let's get out, let's go out and do something. We've been degenning. You're able to talk and almost hyper transact with other people, with Discord, with Twitter Spaces, with Clubhouse. And this was one of the first. Hey, we're able to actually fly. We're able to move. We're able to go cross country. Things lightened up, and we started to find out a little bit more about what we could and couldn't do as far as travel. And this is one of the first experiences after COVID that was actually opened up. And the apes, the Bored Ape Yacht Club party started off that whole FOMO. I mean, I remember on Halloween not being in New York, but just seeing all the video and footage of that actual just being filled up and people just having last. And it just was something that I just wish I booked an earlier flight towards. But, I got there on November 1st, which, is almost year to the date. Had zero idea of anything of the such. I walked into the space as a teacher. I was a teacher at that time, and all I wanted to do is convey the message. That message was a little bit of hope. That message was about learning, and that message was about community, because that community got me here. If you're looking up at the pinned tweet at the top, there's a little bit of video footage of the end of my speech where I actually mic dropped. I try to take cool components of what my son, who's not a teenager, younger than a teenager, and what he finds is cool out in the space. So I guess we'll remind back to that a little bit. Picking out the CryptoPunk you see in front of you, or the one that is taking over the Twitter handle, that is CryptoPunk.3706. CryptoPunk.3706 is a 5-trait CryptoPunk. Back to the communication aspect. In the CryptoPunk, I'll pull up the page here. If you go up to the top page, if you're just tuning in right now, you can check out live video of actually what I'm talking about, because I'm streaming live in the Novoverse. It's actually showing live video on the Twitter handle at NFT NYC, at Paris Shilton, and also at CryptoNovo. And if you go into the CryptoPunks app here, and you go to all punk types and attributes, and you scroll down past the attributes, there's actually a section for traits, the number of traits. 0 traits are just the normal attributes that are there, as far as just have a smile, being an albino, maybe an attribute. Then there's a 7 trait, which Danny Seedphrase owns, with the top hat, the luxurious beard, the earring, buck teeth, cigarette, classic shades. So before Larva Labs updated this, Matt and John were in Discord. They're saying, well, what other things would you like updated in there? And a huge thing that people talked about is the different attributes, or lack thereof attributes. So having 6 attributes in a CryptoPunk, there's only 11 of those in the world. If you want a 5 trait, there's 166 of them. So 5 trait is what my CryptoPunk has. It has a tassel hat. It has big shades. It has a clown nose, black lipstick, which is often overlooked. I call that a visible hidden trait because people often overlook that. Then I also have a golden earring, and that golden earring is an actual hidden trait, which is not shown in the CryptoPunks attribute classes. So, prior to Bored Apes coming out and, the next wave of NFTs coming out, people were looking into different types of attributes. Like the beanies, there's only 44 of them, but some of them weren't listed. And those that weren't listed were the number of attributes. So the 5 trait is a little bit rarer than the other ones. That's why I went with that. I went with the big shades because I like the coloring of it and the nose. But back to the main point of the story is actually my son actually ended up picking out this CryptoPunk. I gave him, probably about 5 or 6 that he could look through to pick out. He was able to pick out that CryptoPunk that you see in front of you right now, 3706. And oh wow, look at this. I'm looking live action, excuse me, on the CryptoPunks page, and I think I saw a CryptoPunk I used to own back in the day that is a 5 trait, and yes, it is. So I'm in Decentraland right now. This is kind of what I do. I'm degenning out live action. CryptoPunk 3361 looks very familiar. She has a black lipstick, stringy hair, earring, a cigarette, and nerd glasses, which is the 5 trait. I'm scrolling down right now, and I am noticing that one was once owned by CryptoNovo 311. I bought it on September 14th, 2020. All this is on there live, doesn't lie on the blockchain. And I sold it on Christmas, almost Christmas Eve for 11 ETH. All right. At the time, let's see, ETH was about $200. So there you go. Sold it for 11 ETH. That 11 ETH back in the time was worth $6,000. That was eventually sold to buy the CryptoPunk that you're seeing in front of you today. You can click on all these. These are all blockchain doesn't lie. So I'm clicking on CryptoNovo 311's account. I'm clicking on 3706 within the Punks. Punks.app website here, and then you can see the entry point on this particular CryptoPunk was made on May 23rd for 5 Ethereum, and 5 Ethereum at the time was worth $1,000. $1,000 on Ethereum. That's not none of this is financial advice, but it's just what happened in the space. I was able to network, speak with people. Those people were able to bring me towards other things. And those other things ended up being CryptoPunks. And those CryptoPunks eventually led into NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot was the next kind of onboarding step. A lot of the people in the CryptoPunks Discord were in CryptoPunks. They saw what was going on in the space. Dapper Labs kind of was floating around in Discord and just asked people to beta test it. Is when that's pretty much what we did. We beta tested the heck out of it. CryptoNovo, he has his own Twitter handle. That is my son's. He was able to help in the experience of opening some of those packs early in the space. He has a Cryptode that he has gravitated towards. And when I come back from these IRL events, like NFT NYC 2022, which is right now, you can see in the Novoverse screen, is that has the all the trinkets that you kind of get walking around NFT NYC when we were in New York. Back to NFT NYC 2021, I had the opportunity to get up on stage and speak, and it was wonderful being accepted. I walk around dressed like my CryptoPunk with a tassel hat with a clown nose, and all people wanted to do is give a high five and ask for a selfie, and I hand out stickers, and we just have at it, and we have fun throughout that whole thing. And that's, one thing I strongly encourage people that are getting out there in the space is be an active participant. Get out there and do these things. I mean, it's a great way of networking and communicating with the lots of people. And, you know, some of those people are the MCs that, you know, dedicate their time into the space and the overall Web3 world to make this all run properly. One of them, Ian, Ian, who's down there listening, you know, is a prime example of, you know, being able to make micro content of individuals to help self project their product, their image towards a greater cause, which is this NFT NYC London community, NFT NYC community as well, that, you know, goes for the greater being of getting the name out there, onboarding new people, getting people to feel like they are a welcome member of this community and never felt so welcome. Walking on stage for the first time. Go ahead, Quinn.
I was going to say that it really warms my heart to hear you say that, Novo, because it's, you know, it's so nice to reflect on 2021. And that was like the moment, I think that was the first time I met you backstage, and everyone just absolutely loved what you were putting out there, right? It was all about the community coming together for the first time after a dark time, right? And really feeling like we were together and we found our people, and it was all verified in real life, right? And then 2022 is a totally different story, right? Like 2021, there were 5,500 people there. The year before it was like 500, right? So it really grew a lot. 5,500 with 3,000 on the waiting list. And then in June it was over 16,000 people. And you were actually on Radio City Music Hall stage with some of your buddies, some of the OGs that have been in this space for a really long time. Would love to hear about your experience, what it was like to be backstage at Radio City Music Hall. You know, you got interviewed by Rolling Stone. It was awesome. But like that moment of you being on stage with your friends, would love to hear about that.
Man, it was capital C crazy. And all I kind of did was ask. I asked to help my friends. Spotty Wi-Fi, as you all do or don't know, a pioneer in the NFT space. And I wanted to get him up there for his hard work and what he's done in the space. And he's helped me out considerably by promoting Avatxrs.xyz. And those are the AR filters I use to stay anonymous. And I use to make that content. That content was the brainchild of Avatxrs.xyz. He is a higher up at Publicis Group, and kind of in charge of their Web3 onboarding of the masses in the brand space, and then also just integrating people to what's out there. So I was able to help amplify my friends because they're the ones that got me here. I don't make that much. I just create friends. I make friends. That's my kind of like big thing, is creating those friends and those friendship circles. And, you know, Beskar has been a friend of mine since 3rd grade. So we're going back 30 plus years, but then it's looping in with other people who he knows in the space from his professional work, and getting people like-minded people like JRR Token, who taught me everything about about NFTs after I told him what NFTs were. He was the one that went out there and showed me what Atom Bomb Squad were and say, hey, maybe you should look into World of Women, or hey, this is pretty cool technology coming out from this project, or let's try to get this in VR. So all those things added up to a huge thing. And, you know, on one of the tweets that I have up there, and actually I'm looking on JRR Token's Twitter handle right now, is one of Quinn Button's favorite memories of 2022 is being backstage at Radio City Music Hall, and is a picture of Spotty Wi-Fi, myself dressed as a crypto punk, JRR Token, and Avatxrs, who actually doxed themselves for this opportunity. And that's what it is, an opportunity. And backstage was, man, it was crazy, like you said, Quinn. Go ahead. You're going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say it was such a crazy moment. And I love that you gave what you said is, you know, you asked and you wanted to just help your friends. I think that's so powerful, right? It's about asking, participating, and then helping others. That's what it's all about, the collaboration in this space. And I would say backstage with you guys was the highlight of my whole week. It was so fun to see you guys out there because, you know, a lot of people were are anonymous, continue to be, but for them to have that moment to come out with you on stage was great.
The other crazy thing is we've probably logged hours, tens of hours, maybe 100 hours as a group, consulting each other, talking each other, walking through things, failing at things. We failed through a million things. That was the first time all four of us were actually together, like physically together. And it took 18 months to do that. And it is a meeting point and a beckoning thing. And it was kind of crazy because like we're back there with Spike Lee, but yet we're with our friendship circles. And it wasn't like there was no hierarchy. It wasn't like anyone was cooler than anyone else. It was like we're hanging with our aliens, apes, and zombies backstage, like catching up, like giving hugs. Like then all of a sudden it's like, yo, you guys got to go on stage in a couple minutes. We're like, whoa, we're still kind of catching back up here. Like we're still hugging it out. We're still having that Web3 love going here because that's what it is. It's our hard work and it's paying off. It was almost like the exclamation point at the end of the exclamation mark, the mark that we're able to make through helping, through pretty much Quinn, you and Jody and the whole team helping as volunteers put this together. Let us make our mark at the end of that exclamation point. Or let us make the point at the exclamation mark, excuse me, because that's what it was. It's sharing that story. And a huge part of it is the next day I was able to MC and Veterans DP came on stage. Let's see, I'm trying to pull it up here. VET, spelling it wrong. Veterans DP, I saw them on the docket and they look familiar. And he comes up and he's like, hey, CryptoNovo, guess what? And I was like, man, you look so familiar. He's just like, I was in the crowd when you spoke at NFT 2021 and we got a selfie and I remember it. And I had the selfie and actually retweeted it at the time. And he's just like, and I'm going on stage next because you inspired me. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I inspired you? I just went up on stage and blah, blah, blah about my past. And he goes, I would never think in a million years I'd come up on stage and, you know, be a part of this. And fast forward, not even a year, a couple months later, and he's a speaker on stage and I put it on there and he's helping his fellow veterans who, you know, who want to not be left behind. They want to be part of something. So like my whole experience was able to rub off on him. And then someone in the crowd, it rubs off on them because another veteran in the crowd came up, seeked us out after the speech. It rubbed off on him that he feels loved and feels that there is someone out there for them. I want to pull up Larry, and Larry D is going to be an MC, and just maybe talk a little bit about the panel that you're going to be, or the stage you're going to be talking on an MC if you want to. I'm trying to pull Larry up here. Hold on a second. We'll invite you to co-host, Larry. Why not? Because that's an important part is, you know, being in with those community members. And even if it is just being backstage to tell them like, hey, take a deep breath before you get out there. Larry, what's going on? Larry, how about a little background on what you're going to be bringing to this NFT NYC community here in London in just about a week?
Yeah, so you know, you have in the title NFT community and the word unity. And I have to tell you, in one short year, I went from attending NFT New York last November from the press side, because I do freelancing for Rolling Stone. And the spirit that I felt from Quinn, who's here, from you, from Spotty, who you work with, from Jody, from Cameron, from Tony, from everyone. You know, I was too young for Woodstock 69, but I heard stories that, like, people just reached that field and they just looked out and they saw, like, a massive humanity, and they all felt like owners who finally found their tribe. And I felt like just 12 months ago, like, wow, I found my tribe. And since then, obviously, New York, I had been a speaker and also a host. And this coming year, next week, on the 3rd and the 4th, I have 3 different events. I'll be speaking about digital wearables on the November 3rd with members of Global Merch Services who did the Crypto Bats thing for Ozzy, and they're the world's biggest independent music merchandising company. So it's weird. They do everything from like, Celine Dion to like Iron Maiden, and they do all of the merchandise. And they're talking about how in Web3 merchandising and wearables and things where you can sort of accessorize your world and your space in Web3. Accessorize. And then I'll be also talking about, one of the things I love to say, I talk to people all the time, they say, crypto's down and it's a bear market and it's all over and that's it. And I'm like, no, like it hasn't my catchphrase is, you're late to a party that hasn't started yet. Like we haven't even begun to see what's happening. The metaverse is just starting. People from every walk of life, some of them are scams and obviously, just trying to get rich quick. But the real companies, the real people who are here to stay, so many people have compared this moment to like the internet in 1993, 1994, where we're just at the very beginning of a very big shift. And so we'll be talking about that on a stage. And then I'm also hosting the art stage, which for me is a thrill because I've been in the space and for the last year, just as a collector, like as I've collected a Spotty thing with Snoop that he did, and I collected a lot of timepieces and Cyberkongs and Desperate Ape Wives and a Pranksy thing, and I'm mostly an artist. I eventually, if I'm looked at as somebody in the community, I actually have to start doing my own NFT art. But I first wanted to show up. There's a spiritual idea that giving precedes getting. So one of the first things I wanted to do, and Quinn, this, and CryptoNovo, like I showed up like, how can I help as opposed to what can I get? And I think that that's the difference. And that's why I found such a family with NFT London, NFT New York. So sorry for the long ramble, but please ask questions and let's have a discussion.
Yeah.
Larry, I love everything you just said. There's so much love. It's so true. I feel like it's a family, right? The more we all show up for each other, the more we put out, the more we all get. And I think that's exactly the ethos of what CryptoNovo has been talking about and what you definitely, instill. And I know we have Ian here as well, who's producing a bunch of content for us. He's been an OG since the beginning as well. And just so happy to have you all here and excited to see you all in London as well.
Yeah, well, thank you, and hey, Ian, I'd love to know what you're doing, and CryptoNovo, we have to hang out. I actually have a new song that I have to talk to you about that is with my friend who's a really mover and shaker in the Silicon Valley. That we need a little rap section, and Spotty, who I know that you're close to and work with, came in and rapped on something else, but this is like a song that's about the world right now, that we are in a place where we can't afford to be separated, like there's too much at stake for the future of mankind. Not to sound so cryptic, but I really hope to sit down with you in person and hang out. And of course I see Quinn and Tony and have the best time. So I'd love to know what else everyone is doing.
Larry, it is about participation. And, you said it there with just owning a Spotty Wi-Fi NFT at NFT London. That was the most utility I have got was, sometimes you need a CryptoPunk to get in place. Sometimes you need a Bored Ape to get into places. I got a Spotty Wi-Fi song. It got me into 3 events I went to. And I'm not a drinker, but it was open bar. I got to go right in front of the line. I got to rub elbows with other aliens, apes, and zombies, CryptoPunk owners, Bored Ape owners. It was at a winery. There's a bunch of different ones. There was one at Margaritaville that Spotty Wi-Fi hosted as well. So it's about utility and participating in those events. So Larry, maybe we will do a shout out. There is a WAGMI United Beer event for the punks and apes that Spotty Wi-Fi is going to be having on, November 2nd that night. So maybe we will link up there and get some ideas going. And, the CryptoPunk himself, Spotty Wi-Fi, will be there, so we can pass those ideas around. And that's what it is. The more happens, yeah, we have our conversations on stage. You have your MC events, but a lot happens, behind the scenes, within the lobby of the hotel, within the satellite events. And being an active participant is all part of that and all part of the fun. And it does turn into a social network. Angela Rose, thanks for hopping into Central Land. I see you in there participating, dancing, and having a good time. Later on today, I'm going to be giving away wearables, and those wearables will be sent out through myself, and it will be shared right here on this Twitter hand, seeing it NFT NYC at NFT London. So we will be getting some wearables to friends and family out there, all my aliens, apes, and zombies that are dancing and participating. And I also wanted to go back to something that Larry did say, where, these are times that, I know Europe might be feeling a little down in the dumps. People feel that we are maybe in a little bit of a crypto winter. I brought up prime example of when I got my CryptoPunks, and it was when things were really grim and Ethereum dipped down to $200. Yeah, 2 years ago, Ethereum was about $200. None of this is ever financial advice. I was a teacher at the time, and I spoke with the family, and we decided to take my teacher's paycheck and buy CryptoPunks because did my due diligence. I've been in the crypto NFT space for 10 years. I saw an opportunity within CryptoPunks, and I went forward with that opportunity. But that Ethereum was $200, and that was the risk to reward I had at the time. Most people were selling their stocks. They thought the world was going to end. Everything's going to go to zero. Well, I've seen that play out before. I've seen that happen in the .com era when, some of those Web 2 companies didn't quite make it. And markets are cyclical, but you need to do your due diligence. You need to brainstorm your plan of action. You need to do what's best for you and your part and your family. But I wouldn't have gotten anywhere without education and without participation. And I did spell community with a capital unity, because you can't spell community without unity. So you need that unity behind that community. Otherwise, it's worthless. Otherwise, you have one person sitting there twiddling their thumbs, looking for friends. But the community helps all of each other out. So if it is Ian out there just being micro content for, the hundreds of speakers, Ian, maybe I can pull you up and maybe you can go through some of the stats that you of how many people you did make micro content for, and or you chat about anything, because it was awesome even seeing you backstage at NFT NYC 2022.
Well, GM, everybody, happy Wednesday to all the party people out there. I've done about 500 interviews with our event during the last 4 years. So I usually do about 100 each year for our events. And part of the reason is I do our closing keynote at our event focused on the future. And I am not some sort of Nostradamus. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen. So I figured, hey, if I talk to like 100 of our speakers and I ask them what they think about the future, I can kind of collect everybody's consensus and the thoughts around where are we heading, like what's going to happen this upcoming year. So that was a strong motivation. Also, I've always enjoyed learning. So for me, being able to sit down and do a live stream, with you, CryptoNovo, with JR, with Bhaskar, with Spotty Wi-Fi, like I learned so much how you guys are using AR, why you're doing the certain things you're doing, the tech that you're using, the way you're going about things, your learnings, right? The hurdles that you're overcoming. So I think I get this like great advantage of building these meaningful friendships. And sometimes it leads to something more than just a laugh and a sense of connection, but also just the ability to learn, right? I have dual doctorates in Web3 from the 500 interviews that I've done. I want to say, Larry, I have had so many people say great things about you behind your back. So I very much am looking forward to seeing you and being intentional about the two of us connecting together when we're there. So yeah, I love this community. It's been amazing for me to interview and have conversations that are live streamed with the same friends year after year. When I think about guys like Alex and Devin from OpenSea and connecting with them back in like 2018 when it was kind of just getting started, and the way that OpenSea was like, just kind of hanging on for the first few years until the moment that we had late 2020. And being able to kind of go back and reflect on their faithfulness and their consistency and them not being deterred by the market's lack of response, but them being convicted about what they were doing, why they were doing it, why it matters, and being able to share that experience with them by having these kind of marked conversations that are part of their history. So, we're very, very early. I still would consider our industry to be in the third trimester, not yet born. And all signs show that we're going to have a healthy baby. But for those that are newer to this environment, I would strongly encourage you, don't press in is what I'd encourage you to do. When you see CryptoNovo go over all the different CryptoPunks that he bought at a fraction of what we'd have to pay for them today, that's an example of what is ahead for the rest of us. It's not about financial gain. It's about the ability that when you're early, when you're first, there's a ton of new opportunities. And I would still say that we are pre-game. We're in the warm-up. We're in the preseason still. And so, Preston, this is a time. Being in London is going to be a huge advantage for most people. Our last event was 16,000 plus another 10 plus thousand that came to Times Square to go to community events. There'll only be a few thousand people in London with us this time because it's our first year there. It means it's going to be intimate. There's going to be easy access to all of the key players in the industry. This is going to be a very important time for many, many people and many organizations this upcoming week. The final thing I'll say is I am emceeing our future stage on Friday, November 4th. Really excited about the couple dozen speakers and folks that are on panels that will be speaking on the future stage. One that I will mention is Lord Nat Wade. Nat is the Baron of Shoreditch. He and I have been business partners in different efforts around the Web3 area for the last 4 years or so. And we're going to sit down and talk about NFTs, the future of NFTs in governance and in politics. I believe our fireside chat at the end of Friday will be very important, and I expect it will be a conversation that many other people that are senators and congressmen and women here in America, or also people that are in positions of power in politics, will look at and really consider, okay, how should I press in? And we have to ask ourselves, why haven't we created space for senators and congressmen and governors and mayors to come and to our event up to this point and feel like they can learn and I participate in this? And then finally, I'll do the closing keynote on Friday on the future stage. And I always find great joy in being able to share with everybody my collective thoughts after all the interviews and after moderating our future stage and kind of gathering together where we are at. I'll pop in the chat window my closing keynote from June. I never really promoted it. I actually just uploaded. I realized it wasn't live. I just uploaded yesterday. So I'll pop that in. Anybody that's interested in taking a peek, you can clearly see that I am very motivated by my optimism for the future of tech and my love for humanity. But thanks for bringing me on stage. It's always nice to jump in and say hello to all my friends.
Yeah, Ian, if I could jump in and just say how inspiring what you just said is, and forgive me, Crypto and Nova and Quinn, but just wanted to share two things, like what you said, Ian, about what a great stage, by the way, to be emceeing the future stage, because again, what CryptoNovo said just previously, how you run into people, it's really a lightning strikes moment. This reminds me of like Florence in the 1500s, when in a small period of time in one place you had like Michelangelo, Botticelli, Machiavelli, Da Vinci, all of these people in one spot, one place. The camaraderie that happens on stage and off stage, and not just the speakers, but everybody mingling, speakers, presenters, people who are leading billion-dollar companies with artists that are just starting for the first time. The way people come together just by being there and being early in this space is profound. You know, I use Body Wi-Fi, for instance, as an example when I'm doing a master class with young songwriting students who are all like, oh, should I like try to pitch my stuff for syncs and do this and that? And yes, that's cool, but like he just went and found community. You know, his presence with the CryptoPunks and the Apes led him to sell out in 1 minute and make more money than if I got like, you know, 40 million streams or something on Spotify of my new song. And so the amazing opportunity here is, and also crypto, like what you said about deciding very early on to buy some CryptoPunks and from being a teacher. And again, like that's right now is the time to actually be building. I know that sounds so cliche and we hear it, you know, 1,000 times, but look at what happened with Reddit. Like they just suddenly started putting out NFTs this week and they drove the entire cryptocurrency market up. At least yesterday it was up 8%. I haven't checked, but the fact that we are in such a early stage and there's so much community here, the opportunity is profound. And whoever I gave doodles and Bored Apes to that said good things to you, Ian, I can't wait to meet you in real life. Just joking, of course. But this is the spirit right here.
Larry, you're right. This is a renaissance, and I know you're rattling off artists. I was thinking of more of Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, because it is a party and it is a new way of doing things. I see the interest in my son when, you know, I'm walking by and I'm doing old school work stuff. He doesn't care. I'm walking by degenning on AR filters, VR stuff, NFT stuff. Oh, what is that? What is that? Can you do with that? Because right now, I mean, I don't know how much money our household has spent on Fortnite skins, but it's more than I've ever spent on video games growing up as a kid. And that's what these the next wave of people want. They want to have that utility, that versatility. They want to be able to change their physical clothes and their drip in the metaverse, because that is how you show your clout in this space. Before it was, back in the day, the one person who did have that cell phone or that Discman or that Walkman before that, or the person who had the 8-track in their car. Now it's an equal playing field where it is, oh, what can you do in VR? What can you do with the art that you created, the sound that you created? And that's what's wonderful about it. It's all saved on chain, that you can't lie about it. It's there historically forever. And we're paving the road for it. And the like-minded individuals at these conferences are the ones that you need to be around, because it's a concentration of awesomeness and great people. Think about it back in the day, and I wasn't there. I know Beskar was at one of the first South by Southwests, where, you know, hey, look, I can now tweet from my Facebook account and tell people that I updated blah, blah, blah on Facebook. Well, that was back in the day, and that was probably like, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 people sitting in a conference hall. Very similar to the super first NFT NYC, even before NFT NYC 2021. And then you fast forward that to coming out of a pretty much a pandemic where everyone was stuck inside, having huge explosion of ideas coming towards the first NFT, I call it the first NFT NYC 2021. Not even a year later, huge amplifier effect in Times Square. And then almost a year later to date, hop in the pond overseas to London to bring in, you know, the EU. I mean, it's just, I'm grateful for being part of it, of going over there. I wanted to go over there for multiple reasons, but now to see what like-minded individuals are going to be concentrated on that side of the world. With that being said, get your tickets. They are available. You can get in there. It is at the Queen Elizabeth Center on the 3rd and the 4th of November. You can find there's satellite parties that you can find up there at the top. Whole bunch of things. The speaker list is in there. You can see all the speakers. As Ian was alluding to before, the 500 that he's seen and gone through, I mean, there's a great person you want to probably pick his brain, because he gets to know a little bit about everyone. Same with Quinn Button up there. And then also the organizational effort with Tim Livingston as well.
Yeah, thanks, Nova. I was going to say, I definitely want to shout out a few other people in here. Tim Livingston's our social media guru and community manager, and Angela Rose. I'm so happy that you're here. Angela was a huge part of the team for NFT NYC 2022, and just, you know, all around all-star in this space, really working with individuals, doing her own projects, you know, teaching. She's into music and also mental health. So I love, you know, everyone who's in here. And I do want to just say, you know, in terms of London, because I do want to make sure everyone gets to meet each other and has at least a moment to sit down and chat, because that's what it's really all about, being there in person. We have, you know, the VIP and speakers dinner, which is on November 2nd, which would be a good time to sit down and chat. But we're also having an opening party on the 3rd, shortly after programming at 6:30 on the 3rd, day one. And then, of course, we'll have happy hours and a closing party on November 4th as well. So, and I'm so excited to see all these different satellite events pop up now as well. I think we have CloneX dinner that's going on. There's Cyber Brokers is doing something, a party. I know that World of Women will be there as well. And actually, I think a panel of some of the ladies at World Women on the team will be on the collectibles track with you, CryptoNovo, who will be hosting the collectibles track as well. So, yeah, shout out to this whole team. Really excited for London, and I think that it will be really special. I think, Ian, one of the things that, you know, we've talked about in terms of your interviews, which go check out our YouTube channel for those interviews that Ian's done with speakers that are coming to London. There's a whole new cohort of people we're going to hear from who are building things around the world outside of the United States. And I'm so excited to meet all of them and to really bring people from around the world, because Web3 is a global community. It is not just in North America. So for us all to come together, where it's easier for people to access, you know, London is a fantastic place with a really great, strong community and a lot of amazing builders out of the UK and out of Europe. So excited to see the whole global community get together next week.
NFT is an international language. From broadcasting live in the Novoverse, you know, broadcasting. I mean, heck, one of our first broadcasts was with Pranksy giving away 150 CryptoPunks. That was like, I think, our third broadcast using AR filters. That's Avatxrs.xyz filters, and those filters were able to just bring a whirlwind of communication into the space and able to chat, just like Quinn was talking with, is NFTs being the international language, where now it's not, you know, it's never, even in New York, it was never about New York. It was about everyone. It wasn't even about the States. It was about everyone. And that was just a good international hub for people to get in and out of, from Europe, from Central America, from the Pacific Rim. So then now it's the same thing, but now centralized in the EU. And it is a whole bunch of people that have been building, that want to get their name, their project out there to showcase the newest things in this space. I mean, I remember just going back in the day, you know, going from a CryptoPunk to saying, wow, this NFT now has music to it. Wow, this is Justin Avatxrs just transformed the world by bringing photography into NFTs. And then now we have it layered. Oh, so layered. Angela Rose, thanks for partying with us in Decentraland. You are a rock star. You have a star over your head and a glowing guitar. Maybe that's a bass. I think that's a 4-string that you're playing there. But I appreciate that. Cool stuff. Keep bringing that cool stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do, is bring that cool stuff out there. I'll be emceeing the collectible stage. I was a collector prior to getting into collecting, I guess, cryptocurrencies and altcoins. Always kept my comic books, never read them, pretty much bought them, put them right in a bagged and board, and organized them and graded them and stored them away. They're still stored at my parents' house, temperature controlled setting over there. And then the toys. I'm just recollecting the toys from my childhood that I burned up with a magnifying glass, buried in a sandbox. I don't know, launched up into space. I mean, pretty much just anything that I played with a long time because I didn't have much growing up. So whenever I had something, I cherished it. Very similar to me diamond handing. Probably my NFTs past its prime for this cycle, but that cycle is going to turn over again. And none of this is ever financial advice, but like just judging on the friends in my friendship circle, judging on a little bit of what I do to my 9 to 5. There's more out there, and there's tons more out there. JR Token, thanks for listening, because you're one of those ones that shows me what's out there consistently and all the time. And you're ghosting around in Decentraland as we speak. And look at that. You have an AR filter live and direct with a clone. You have, I'm going to pull you up.
Yeah, what's happening?
I'm going to pull you up as a speaker on Twitter here. So you can maybe speak through the Twitter mic, but I have your face live and direct, I think I'm showing the right thing here.
Oh my gosh. This is so cool. If anyone's watching broadcast, you can see JR Token and CryptoNovo both using their amazing AR filters.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, what a great stage. This is awesome. All the buddies. What's happening?
All the buds.
We're all here, Token.
Like NFT London is going to be insane. I wish I was going.
We'll miss you.
I'll be there in meta spirit. Don't worry.
As long as you make it in meta spirit and you're on the spaces. Token, can you maybe talk a little bit about the experience of just being backstage at Radio City Music Hall and just kind of rubbing elbows with some of the industry's most like-minded and best individuals, not only the ones that were speaking there, but just everyone else that was part of the whole thing. That
I mean, it was so incredible. Definitely, I think I replied on the picture of us you posted earlier, but it was absolutely surreal. I mean, Radio City Music Hall is a stage of stages, at least in the United States, and to be backstage and on stage was beyond. And considering, how quickly this all moved for, a Web3 space to get to that point, especially for us as the Novoverse as well as Spotty Wi-Fi to tell our origin story and what's going on was just absolutely epic. And just to your point, just seeing everybody and Ian come around in the backstage, and there was amazing portrait photography going on. It was just so cool. Really felt like, Web3 royalty for a bit. So it was incredible. And again, it's just great to be able to tell our story. The production was unbelievable from the NFT NYC side of capturing that content and broadcasting it. So it was so fun. It was really great. And it kind of had to pinch myself a little bit to make sure that was real. I'm sure when we were backstage, we were all just kind of, we were freaking like, is this really happening? And yes, it is.
I was happy to get you up there, my friend, and hopefully it's a small token of appreciation, play on words there, for the hard work that you've helped me out with, because as we all know, none of us can do this ourselves. And I'm sure that Quinn Button right now is probably multitasking, getting back to DMs, helping people change their profile picture or the name of their panel or their speech. And, having people to help delegate responsibility is also a huge part of it. Part of your responsibility as us being in that friendship circle is finding those cool parties and those cool things going on. If it was hitting up an Atom Bomb Squad event, or if it was, getting into a Bored Ape event, what things do you suggest to people to be an active participant? What are maybe one or two highlights that you can, or pieces of advice, that you can give towards people?
Sure. Participate. If that lesson hasn't been learned from people who've been in at least the space for over at least 6 to 8 months, that is the key, because just by participating, even in the slightest, is the ability to start getting into these experiences, connecting with meaningful people in the space, and creating your own kind of Web3 network. But even just keep track of the, it's always daunting, and it is daunting at this point, especially if you're a collector and you have a lot of NFTs. There's a lot of events, a lot of things that you have to keep track of, but try to just keep very attuned to announcements that are going on, and just make sure that if you're really going, don't waste people's time to these events if you're not, because everything is very limited, and we want to make sure that people who are actually able to attend can attend. So don't claim tickets and don't claim things if you're definitely not even in the country. But certainly, if you are planning, look at all the announcements. There's, a lot of, whether that's from Twitter or from the Discords, just be attuned to that as NFT London approaches, so that way you can start getting onboarded into these event parties and listed, because you're going to want to go to them. From what we saw at NFT NYC, many of the events were just exceptional, both the official events and some of the satellite ones. So just be open and vigilant. There's a lot of late minute announcements that always happen, so just keep your eyes peeled and make sure that if you can participate, that you do, because that will just be able to grant you access to these experiences that you're just not going to want to miss.
Larry, do you have your hand up over there, my friend?
Yeah, thanks. I just I mentor songwriters, because so in a couple of minutes I have to jump off, but just wanted to share that I'm extraordinarily grateful to everyone, to you and Ian and Quinn and everybody on here, that we're getting together to share this sort of excitement. Feels almost like Christmas to me, like this excitement about what's to happen. And I too was at Radio City later in the day I'm a New Yorker, so I went there for the Christmas show for the Rockettes. I saw the Grammys there. I saw Whitney Houston come up from underneath the stage. There's this sort of hydraulic thing. She came up singing "I Will Always Love You," and The Bodyguard won Grammy of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year. So to stand on that stage, the connections you make. I mean, I'll reveal something. I have a call in an hour and a half with Pablo Stanley, who's the creator of Robotos. My first Time magazine timepieces was a Roboto cover of Time. And the fact that I met him on stage at Radio City because of NFT NYC, and now we're talking about doing a project together and we're friends, the friendships you make. And I also want to tell people, it's not just about the speakers, the people you run into in the hallway, the people you run into just casually, in the area, the friendships that are being made right now are like supersonic. They're not linear. They're like horizontal or vertical, whatever is straight up. And so it's so profound, and what I found is actually the people who are in the space, that are really in the space and moving it, are not the people who I bought my grandmother a Lambo, last year, and then you don't hear from them suddenly when Ethereum's down. It's the people who are right here, right now, all of you listening, everybody on stage. You are the future of this. So I have to jump off, but I just wanted to jump off with extraordinary gratitude, extraordinary happiness to just be speaking today and to be seeing everybody next week.
Larry, thank you. Make sure that you're finding me. I will have some POAPs that I can hand out. I will have some physical stickers, and definitely a big old hug. I'm someone who just likes to hug. I don't know. That's just who I am. So love to definitely catch up with you. You'll be able to pick me out. I stick out like a sore thumb in a room unless everyone's dressed up like me, which would be cool. It'd be like, where's Waldo? Token, again, thank you for hopping on and participating. One thing I was able to participate in early as well is just getting a pigeon, a metaverse pigeon, and that turned into clones and turned into just more and more. So do the due diligence. There are awesome projects out there. There are great people out there doing those. You can pull a lot of that information. If you are going to be in Europe, get over to London, get over to that Queen Elizabeth Center and get in there and be an active participant. And if not, there's going to be tons of social media. There's going to be tons of post videos afterwards. So you can get this information. You can digest it. You can research what is out there, because I got here from educating myself, and I'm trying to get where I'm going by educating others. And those others are helping me along the way. I will have a spaces on a little bit later on tonight. Up on top, we are having a Novoverse Halloween party in Decentraland. We actually have a whole bunch of people in there. Button, thank you for joining us. I love the old school, the old timey scuba helmet that you have on there. That's pretty dope. Angela Rose, thanks for joining in there. We have Best RX. Who's that ghost? JRR Token, thanks for floating around in there. And then also, yeah. Anything else from the people who are up here that want to say anything? John, do you want to say anything while you're up here? Go for it. Yeah, John, go for it.
Oh, y'all made me a speaker. My name's John. I think you got the wrong guy.
That's right. I pulled you up as a speaker. You had your hand raised as a speaker. I hope you.
I've been doing that for a while. I'm new to the NFT space. I just had a couple questions about Doodle Punks and what is it? I got another collector's edition.
I don't want to give you the wrong information on exact projects. The Discord is probably 100% the best way. If not, someone listening in this room, feel free to DM John at the dude IK, and that's how you're doing it. You're getting your information live. You're actually listening to a bunch of alphas in the space. You have Dr. Doge down there who helps me make that virtual reality content. I am 6, who makes tons of songs for me. You can get a hold of Nicole Betts down there, but these are the right things to tune into. I'll do some due diligence on this. If you want to tune in later on, I'm going to be taking over spaces again here at 9:00 Central Time. That's different in the UK. That's different on the East Coast. But John, thanks for listening in. We're going to cut it short. We're going to cut it off here so we can get some other people on their way. So with that saying, get those peace signs ready down there and those hearts. I want to say thank you to everyone. Stay positive and love life. Peace.
69. 23. 69.
Songs by I Am 6.
We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. We in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. It's lit in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. NFTs in the Novoverse. The Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse.
Thanks, Quinn Button. You're the best.
Novoverse.
Tim Ian, thank
We
you.
are in the Novoverse.
Those in the Novoverse, love yous.
Novoverse.
That's it. Avatxrs.xyz if you need a filter. Novoverse, that's 2369 in Decentraland, 2369 in Decentraland. We will be streaming live and direct once again in spaces. I'll set that up shortly. Spread the word. Stay positive and love life. Peace.